Apple acquired Beats Electronics back in 2014, and they forked over $3 billion to do so. At the time, everyone wondered why, and while some speculated that this was Apple's way of getting rid of the competition, others saw it as an opportunity for Apple to expand its reach in the music industry. After all, they also bought Beats Music, which was later absorbed into Apple Music. Apple didn't just toss the Beats brand altogether. They kept making new products and integrating their own chips into these products as a way to maximize their compatibility with Apple's own devices. But have they done enough in comparison to their own line of sound products? I think the Beats Fit Pro would disagree. Now, credit where credit's due. Apple could have just chosen to trash Beats altogether. Now granted, this would have made a lot of fans very angry at Apple, but they could have done it. The biggest reason as to why I think they haven't done it? Well, Beats headphones are still very popular. In fact, a survey conducted by Statista Global back in 2021 found that Beats were the second most popular headphone of choice in the US for people ages 18 through 64. AirPods still took the lead with a 34.4% market share, followed by Beats, which still holds a very respectable 15.3% market share, staying above popular brands such as Samsung and Bose. I think the main problem here is innovation, or lack thereof. The Beats Fit Pro were released on November 1st of 2021, just about 10 months before the AirPods Pro 2 were released, and comparing the two, we can see the massive difference in features and even build quality. For starters, the AirPods Pro 2 use an updated H2 chip, which allows them to have better Bluetooth connection, better noise reduction, and even better sound. The Beats Fit Pro use the first generation H1 chip, which allows them to easily connect between your Apple devices, just like your AirPods will, but not as efficiently. Now let's talk about this because I think this is a very important topic to discuss. Even if Apple had the H2 chip ready back in 2021 when the Beats Fit Pro released, I don't think they would have included it in them. Of course, Apple is going to save their most innovative technology for their main products, and will always choose them to get those new features first. This unfortunately means that any Beats headphones are more than likely always going to be behind Apple's own products, even if only for a little while. In fact, ever since the release of the H2 chip in the AirPods Pro 2, no Beats headphones are using the chip, and they probably won't be for a little while longer. Maybe after Apple includes the new chip in the AirPods Max? Who knows? A new chip is not the end-all be-all for headphones though, so how do these fare in other categories? Not so well, I'm afraid. In terms of sound quality, the Beats Fit Pro are really good. The sound is crisp, the bass is not overpowering, and there's virtually almost no sound leakage that I could hear. But the AirPods Pro 2 sound better. How much better? That's hard to say. A sound is very personal and people like different things. For me, the AirPods have a better bass to voice balance, and the vocals are separated better from the instruments when listening to music. This could be due to the H2 chip, but then again, these might still sound better to you. Where these headphones take a major dip though, is in both features and the quality of those features. ANC, for example, is just mediocre on these. The lows are filtered out just fine, but the highs are very present still, and annoyingly loud as the headphones try to filter them out but fails to do so. Transparency mode is no better, with pretty similar sound to the older XM4s from Sony or the first generation AirPods Pro, still not anywhere near the quality of the AirPods Max when it comes to transparency mode though. There is no adaptive sound like in the AirPods Pro 2, but that's to be expected since it got introduced with this newer generation. As for the headphones themselves, they have pretty basic touch controls, which can be a plus for people who don't like fiddling around with confusing touch controls. Press once to play or pause music, twice to skip a track, 3 times to repeat a track, etc. No touch controls to lower or raise the volume though, you still need to reach for your phone or watch to do that. The problem is, these don't work half the time. I've been using them now for about a month to go on my regular runs, and they failed me multiple times. I press and press, but nothing happens. So you either have to put them back on their case and repair them, or you restart the Bluetooth on your phone. It's annoying, and it really takes away from what should be a smoother experience. The case... this case. I will talk about the build quality after. The case has no wireless charging capabilities, which doesn't sit right with me looking at the price tag, so you're stuck charging them with USB-C. At least they charge fairly quickly though. You can use Find My to track these headphones thanks to the H1 chip inside, but it's not as good or accurate as the newer Precision Finding, which you can only use on the second generation AirPods Pro so far. Battery is amazing when ANC is turned off though. I've done 3 to 4 hour walks before and I'll still have like 85% or more at the end while listening to music the whole time. The box claims 6 hours with ANC turned on, but ANC is bad enough that I just tend to not use it most of the time. Also, for some odd reason, I've noticed that the case tends to drain its own battery much quicker than the headphones do. I will charge it, and by the next day, the light is already blinking orange and asking me to charge it again. Okay, now let's talk about build quality. The headphones are great. They feel sturdy and premium. The buttons are nice and clicky when they work. The tips are very comfortable and they stay in nicely. But one of the advantages of having this model in comparison to others is the fact that they're meant for fitness, which is why they have this little rubber piece sticking out of them. It's meant to sit right below your anti-helix and it bends to fit any size. And so they're fine and comfortable for about 40 minutes max. But then this piece starts to put a lot of pressure in your ear as it's trying to bend back in place, and it really hurts. After about an hour and a half of use, even adjusting them is very painful, and I end up having to take them out and let my ears rest for a bit before putting them back on. As for the quality of the case itself, just listen to this flimsy mess of a hinge. I have no further comments. All of this would be perfectly fine if these headphones were somewhere around $100 to $130 max, but they're not. They're about $200 before taxes. You can easily find the newer AirPods Pro 2nd generation for even cheaper than that, and even if you couldn't, I think the AirPods are a much better value for just $50 more. I really hope Apple doesn't abandon these. I love the fact that these can connect to all of my Apple devices seamlessly, and that they also work really well with Android, unlike AirPods. I also just like the look of these better. But what do you think? Will Apple ever make these so good that they will rival their main line of headphones? Or are Beats doomed to sit right behind them for the rest of their life? This has been McMatched. I will see you all in the next one.